friends, welcome to another reading lesson with Miss Meadows. We are continuing to talk about biographies, which remember are stories written about other people to tell about their lives. And the story we're going to be reading today is called Pele, King of Soccer. And it also has this underneath it that says El Rey del Fútbol, which is King of Soccer in Spanish, because we are going to be seeing that this story talks a lot about English and Spanish in it. Alrighty. This page says, watch as the famous number 10 flips the soccer ball up, down, and around with his magic feet. Pele runs across the field like a cheetah, dribbling like a dancer. So this is the story of Pele and how he plays soccer and how he began to play soccer. This part under here that Miss Meadows isn't reading is these same words up here, but in Spanish, so that if there was somebody who spoke Spanish, they could read this part underneath. But Miss Meadows doesn't speak Spanish, so she's just going to read the English parts. Okay. Can Pele score 3 goals in one game? A hat trick? He traps the ball with his thighs and ankles, and before it even touches the ground, he shoots. Pele and his team have won again. The crowd chants, Pele, 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 the king. But Pele was not always so famous. Once he was a boy from the town of Três Corações in Brazil, the largest country in South America. Pele's family was very poor, so he sometimes worked shining shoes and selling meat pies to help them. Every evening, no matter how tired they were, Pele and his father, Don Dino, would play soccer in the streets. Whoops! Sometimes Pele accidentally broke a window or kicked the ball over a fence. When he was almost 10 years old, Pele came home and found his father crying. "Why are you sad, Papa?" he asked. "I'm sad because Brazil has lost the World Cup. Everyone in Brazil is sad tonight." "Don't worry, I'll win a World Cup for you one day," Pele promised. Pele loved to play soccer with his friends. They didn't have enough money for a ball, so they used a grapefruit instead. If they couldn't find a grapefruit, they would stuff an old sock with newspapers. Pele and his friends started their own soccer team. When the other team saw that Pele and his teammates couldn't afford shoes, they nicknamed them the Barefoot Team. But the Barefoot Team kept winning. Sorry. One day, a famous Brazilian soccer player invited Pele to try out for a professional team. At 15, Pele became the youngest player on the Santos Soccer Club team. The coach thought that Pele was too skinny and ordered him to eat and eat and eat. For the first time in his life, Pele had all the food his stomach could hold. Finally, it was time for Pele to play soccer in his first professional match. Pele uses his famous bicycle kick to trick the other team. His knees bend and his legs whirl backwards until his foot connects with the ball. When he was 17 years old, Pele played in his first World Cup final for Brazil. On the day of the game, Pele remembered his promise to his father. Pele sees that his teammate Vava is open and kicks the ball to him in a perfect pass. Pele's team won! The Brazilians were the champions of soccer for the first time. Listening on the radio home, Pele's father cried, but this time because he was so happy. With Pele playing for the national team, Brazil won 2 more World Cups. Pele traveled all over the world, playing soccer, and wherever he went, people admired him. He met kings, queens, and presidents, spreading the love of soccer to children and adults everywhere. But there was one more thing that Pele wanted to do. No soccer player had ever scored 1,000 goals. Pele had scored 999, which is one away. It was a rainy November day, and 80,000 fans had come to see Pele play. Pele dribbles towards the goal line, and his opponent trips him. Penalty kick. Pele looks at the ball. He looks at the fans. He looks at the goalie. Can you guess what happens? Pele kicks and scores his 1,000th. And he did it. He got his 1,000th goal. So this is an example of a biography because it tells the story about how Pele started. How Pele started playing soccer, how he got interested in it, how he used to have to play with a grapefruit because he didn't have a ball, and then how he ended up winning a World Cup for his dad at the end, which was one thing that his dad really wanted, which is why it's an example of a biography because it tells his story. Now, this is a great story to explore your gem choices with in the back of the room, so go ahead and find one of those and work on it. I had so much fun reading with you today, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.